The internet is chock full of pictures, and if current trends continue, there will be 657 billion more of them 12 months from now. Most of them, however, are not worth the buffering time, but some of them are definitely worth taking a look at. Join me as we take a look at 20 images that will make you say, I had no idea. Amazing! Number 20. Apple's headphones. Most earbuds have 2 or 3 holes, the big ones for the noise and the teeny tiny one for the microphone. Apple earbuds on the other hand look like the work of a Swiss cheese manufacturer. Don't be too quick to judge. Apple did not do this to save a few bucks. These extra holes actually reduce the pressure that builds up in run-of-the-mill headphones. By letting fresh air in and pressurized air out, these holes improve acoustics, so next time you get rickrolled, make the most of it with a pair of Apple's headphones. Number 19. The iPhone Clock App. Now let's talk about iPhone Clock App. We wager it's one of the first things you shove in the dusty folder and leave there to rot. What do you need it for when there's a clock right on your home screen? But in your haste to declutter, you missed something pretty cool. Unlike other app icons that are stationary images, that little icon is actually a working timepiece. If you sit and stare long enough, you'll start to see its hands move. Don't stare too long though. It's supposed to tell time, not waste it. Number 18. The USB logo. Easy to crop and one sharp tug away from snapping in two, most people would not associate USB with a god of unimaginable power, or since water ruins them, the sea. But that's exactly where the icon came from. It's actually based on Poseidon's trident. The trident has triangles on all 3 prongs, but the icon has a circle and a square on 2 of them. You ask why the trident and not some other pointy objects? The alteration was made to give a sense of universality and to signify all the different peripherals that could be attached using this standard. Number 17. The Dairy Queen lid. Why do cold things hate us so much? Poles get stuck to our tongues, ice trains like to watch us crack our skulls open. Even Dairy Queen sundaes turn our fingers into icicles. That's just the price you pay for ice cream though, right? Well, it doesn't have to be. You see that lid? It also doubles as an ice cream holder. Just pop off that DQ lid and slide it over the bottom of your sundae. Number 16. Ketchup containers. What were the manufacturers thinking? These cups are barely big enough to dip your fingers in, much less a hamburger. That's only because you've been using them wrong. These little cups are actually a piece of industrial origami. Just grab the other edge and tuck the fan pygmy cups into miniature plates they were meant to be. You are now a condiment master. Number 15. The power button's shape. Take a look at the power button on a nearby electronic device. Go ahead, I'll wait. You will wonder why it looks like that? As long as it wasn't some alien device, the symbol you saw is a combination of the universal symbol for on, which is a line, and the universal symbol for off, which is a circle. Using this icon in place of on or off allowed electronic manufacturers to bypass language barriers. The Bluetooth logo, on the other hand, did not come from some boring handbook. Nope, it's actually the name of a Viking peacemaker, King Harald Bluetooth, written in Scandinavian runes. Hope that fact did not ruin your day. Number 14. The direction of your fuel arrows. Have you ever pulled up at a gas station and realized that your gas cap is on the other side? Do you remember taking the walk of shame back to the driver's side to turn the car around? As you flipped it into gear, you just knew your ancestors were shaking their head at you. But what if I told you there was a way to tell which side the gas tank is on without getting out of your car? Take a look at your gas gauge. Do you see that little icon on the dash? The one with the miniature gas pump? Bet you didn't notice that little arrow next to it. Next time you go to pull up at a pump, make sure it's pointing towards the gas pump. Number 13. Pen cap holes. Kids will stick anything in their mouths if given a chance. That's why toy companies like to print those choking hazard labels on pretty much everything. So it may come as no surprise that before the hole was added to the pen caps, pens caused over 100 choking deaths a year. That hole in the pen cap is so much more than a quirky design feature. It's a way to keep kids from choking on it, leaving just enough space for them to breathe through, should the cap get stuck in their throats. Number 12. Airplane window holes. Is that hole proof of a gremlin at work? A potentially fatal oversight in the design of your jumbo jet? It's actually a pressure regulator. Known as breather holes, these tiny holes regulate the pressure passing between the window's outer and inner panes by ensuring that the outer pane bears the most stress. These holes ensure you'll still be able to breathe in case of a window failure. They also keep the window from fogging up to ensure you get a magnificent view of the ground below. Number 11. Pygmy jean pockets. They aren't big enough for credit cards, lip balms, or Lilliputians, so why the heck do jeans have them? People have wondered what these little holes were for since the invention of jeans. While many have speculated as to what that little pocket is for, the real reason has to do with 19th century cowboys. Back then, cowboys would string their watches on chain to keep them from falling into a cow pie or braining a grumpy rattlesnake. Tailors added this pocket to give those cowpokes a place to store their pocket watch. Number 10. Converse holes. A lot of people have fallen victim to Wet-Fit thanks to these holes. Who the heck thought it was a good idea to put them there? Converse, of course. Those holes actually improve ventilation and stop your feet from smelling like an artisanal mix of blue cheese and toe jam. They also make it easy to bar lace your shoes. This special type of lacing ensures that those Chuck Taylor Converses don't end up flopping around like cheap rubber clown shoes. Just remember that next time you go singing in rain, these holes are not waterproof. Number 9. Measuring tape edge. This one takes a keen eye to notice, but the serrated edge of measuring tape is there for a reason. No pencil handy? No problem. Just scratch the surface you're measuring with the jagged edge to mark your spot. That's just one secret of this multiple faceted tool. That little hole at the end can also be hooked over a nail or to hold it in place when you're measuring. Number 8. Pod handle holes. While every Italian grandma can tell you what the holes in pot handles are for, you might not know. That hole is the perfect shape and size to hold the end of a spoon when you're not stirring with it. This helps keep pasta sauce and chili off your counter and makes cleaning up a lot easier. Or if you want to be boring, you can just use them to hang it up. Number 7. Tic Tac lids. Tic Tac had thought of everything. Not only are these little candies addicting, the container is also handy. Before seeing that picture, you likely played a game of candy roulette every time you open a box of Tic Tacs. You shoot the box and hope to end up with 1 mint instead of 20. Number 6. The 57 on a bottle of Heinz. Heinz today makes more than 5,700 distinct products. So why does the bottle say 57? It all started in 1896 when founder H.J. Heinz stumbled upon an advertisement for 21 style of shoes. After some debate, he came up with the slogan 57 varieties, despite the fact that the company offered more than 60 products at the time. The lucky number has been there ever since. It's put in that specific location on the bottle for a reason as well. The 57 is placed on the bottle neck as the best spot to tap in order to get sauce out quicker and more efficiently. Number 5. Takeout containers. Surprise, surprise! It turns out that the condiment cup are not the only origami containers out there. Like its cousin, the condiment cup, the typical Chinese takeout box also unfolds into a plate. Save yourself a few dishes, avoid the grease stain, and chow down. Number 4. Airport runaway numbers. Every runaway in the world has 2 numbers on it. But what the heck do they mean? They don't seem to follow any pattern. Well, it turns out that these numbers are what keeps pilots from mixing up takeoff and landing runaways. Each number matches a direction on the compass and sits somewhere between 1 and 63. And each number corresponds to a point on the compass between 1 and 360 degrees. Every runaway number differs from the other by exactly 18 or 180 degrees. This makes it easy for pilots to decide which runaway is made for landing. Number 3. Reverse military flag. We Americans are real sticklers when it comes to our flag. They have dozens, if not hundreds, of rules about how to use it, fly it, and retire it. For example, it's the only flag that doesn't tip towards the head of state of the host country at the Olympics. It must always face forward, which means the star sits on the left when it's flown on the flagpole. But on military uniforms, it's flipped. The stars are on the right. The reason why is simple. The flag cannot be in retreat when the soldier marches forward. Just another sign that America takes that flag very seriously. Number 2. Fire casts no shadow. Take a look at this picture. Do you notice something missing? That's right, there's no shadow. And no, that's not Peter Pan's candle. You also won't be able to sew one on with thread or rub it on with a bar of soap. To understand why, you need to know 2 things. 1. Shadows are the result of light being blocked by an object. And 2. A flame is nothing more than a gaseous chemical reaction. Since light can pass through a flame unaltered, and the flame itself projecting light onto the wall, there's usually no way for it to cast a shadow. Number 1. Maple syrup handles. Have you ever held a bottle of 100% real maple syrup or helped smuggle one across the Canadian border? If you have, you've likely noticed those tiny little teacup handles. It might be large enough to fit your pinky through, but it's not exactly made for pouring. Where did it come from and why is it there? This tiny handle hails from the days when maple syrup was packaged in a 5-gallon jug. As the bottle shrank, so did the handles. But in order to keep some of that old war charm, the handles never disappeared entirely. Which one surprised you the most? Do you have any photos to share that left you shaking your head in disbelief? Let me know in comments below. Thanks for watching.